Hello, my name is Ali Taqi, and I am a director and founder of Zabaan School for Languages in New Delhi, India. Here, what I will be aiming to do is answer some frequently asked questions about Zabaan and the process of learning a language. I hope that you find this useful, and I hope that it will help you in making a decision about learning a language with us. Thank you. Zabaan School for Languages was started in 2003 in Chicago. It was an idea that I had for what I would want to do after I graduated from college. It was the first thing that I did after graduating college, and the only thing that I have been doing since then, which was back in 2003. The idea was to provide language instruction for Hindi. Initially, it was only Hindi. To provide Hindi instruction to people in my situation, which was that I was born in Chicago and grew up hearing Hindi but never responded in Hindi. Instead, I responded in English to my parents and relatives. So during college, I ended up learning how to speak and read and write. And so I found that there were many people in my situation in Chicago, and so what I would do is go to their home or office and teach them Hindi, and I did that for over the course of 6 years before I moved to India to do the same thing here in New Delhi. And today, Zabaan is teaching its classes online. It has all of its classes, private classes, group classes. It has 8 full-time teachers, and we have all adjusted to teaching online full-time. And our classes are for basic through advanced level Hindi today, basic through advanced level Urdu. We teach Punjabi at a basic and intermediate and perhaps even advanced, but we haven't had an opportunity to do that yet. And we also teach basic and intermediate Sanskrit and Persian. What makes Zabaan unique is that we provide explanations for how Hindi works through English in such a way where it makes it clear the first time that it's explained what is happening for a particular grammatical construction, rather than, say, for example, if you were told how nouns change from singular to plural in all 3 cases from somebody who was not able to convey that properly the first time, that information would be unclear in your mind as you proceed to learn other concepts. So what makes Zabaan different is that you can be assured that the first time something is explained to you about its grammar or a grammatical feature, it will click immediately. All of our teachers have been trained to teach in such a manner, and it works. Zabaan has been teaching online since 2009 in Delhi. However, the number of classes that we taught online were approximately 20%. 80% of our classes were face-to-face, and 20% of our classes were online. Before the pandemic, we used to try to encourage people to continue and take their lessons online if, for say, example, they were leaving the city for work or vacation. But pre-pandemic, it was difficult for people at that time to conceive of anything better than one-on-one. However, we at Zabaan knew that online classes work because we were already working with a number of students online sometimes over 2 years. Sometimes we've never even actually met the person, and they went from knowing 0 Hindi to being fluent. But it was hard to convince people to resume their lessons online when they were taking breaks. So after the pandemic occurred, everybody pretty much, if they wanted to continue to learn Hindi, they pretty much had no choice but to continue online. And so since April 2020, we've shifted all of our classes online, retained our students, and actually also ended up enrolling more students for Hindi and Urdu and the other languages, because more people came online and wanted to spend their time during lockdowns learning a language. So it works. We knew it would work, and now everybody else agrees. So it's been a good thing. I've been online myself, looking at what other people are doing to teach the language, and it's very different from the way that we teach at Zabaan. We at Zabaan aim to ensure that students become fluent in the language and not take any shortcuts in learning or memorizing any phrase or phrases verbatim and looking for opportunities to use them. Instead, we teach the language completely from the very beginning to the end, and in the end, after all the grammar has been learned, we ensure that our students have approximately 35,000 words in their active vocabulary. Being equipped with those number of words and having a great deal of experience and practice using all the grammatical terms, you could see that working with us is the best choice. I mean, I can't help but feel a little bad for being the best in the field, because it's nice that there are a lot of people who are teaching online, but from a student's point of view, it would be best to choose the institute that has the best experience, because it also is a financial benefit. If you're able to understand these concepts the first time that they're explained to you, that means that you don't have to spend a future lesson being retold about them, and a future lesson would mean that you'd have to pay for it. So you could just see how much money you would save if you don't have to repeat concepts. When something is deemed expensive, that is a relative and subjective assessment or estimation. Now, I'm not entirely sure how Zabaan got this reputation, and I think it has that, or some people think that it isn't, and some people think that it is, but all I have to say about that is nobody has ever ceased taking lessons with us because they deemed us too expensive. We've had people who've declared that before they've started taking lessons with us. And the only thing I could think of is that the people who deemed us expensive really just were not in the financial position to pay for our lessons, which actually, if you look at the market value of such lessons, which can range from $25 to $50 an hour, we're on the low side of that. So do I think it's expensive? No. In fact, I think it's a little undervalued. And the reason why we have kept the prices low, in spite of it being the highest quality lessons that are available, is because we want to make sure that we're working with people who work with the most number of people that we can. Because the endeavor of Zabaan is not to become uber wealthy or to become a multi-million-dollar multinational corporation. Our endeavor is it's humble. We're trying to work with people who need to learn this language so that they can improve their lives, so that they can use these languages to improve their familial and social and professional circumstances. So we at Zabaan get a lot out of that. You could say the satisfaction that we get out of our students being happy about having learned, it compensates for the amount of money that we're not getting for charging the maximum that we could, which would be say $50 or 3,500 rupees per hour. So I would say it's relative, and hopefully you can take lessons with us. The reason why we're offering Urdu script, Punjabi script, and Hindi script for free is because over the years we've taught it thousands of times, and we've become so good at teaching them that it's something that we can do in less than 5 lessons, 4, sometimes 3. And we realized that it's one of the biggest intimidating factors for somebody learning a new language, which is the script. And so we thought to remove the financial burden from the decision for a person to start learning the language. As somebody who's grown up speaking English primarily to immigrant parents in America from India, I realize very intimately the difficulty it is in trying to communicate with people whom you care about and whom you want to get to know better in their own languages, as opposed to, say, like my own, English. So my aim, or my motive, or my goal is to help as many people in my lifetime as possible to achieve fluency in the languages that Zabaan has to offer, so that they too, like me, can enjoy speaking to and getting to know people in their language as opposed to mine. And the value of that is immeasurable. I cannot describe the amount of things that I have learned about people from speaking to them in their language. And I've also been grateful that I've been able to express my thoughts to people who do not speak English. And so you could say that my aim is quite simple, which is to help people reach their language goals. And myself and the other 7 and more, actually, who work part-time, our goal, we all share the same goal, which is the love of teaching languages and bridging the linguistic gap between people, so that we can all, in a sense, get along and get to know each other better. That's it. And of course, there are people who need to learn languages to be able to delve into the literature, and that's something that I love doing too myself, which is reading. And helping people read these texts is very important to me as well, because having read them, I realize what's in them, and I often think about how useful it would be for more people to be able to read them as well. So the more number of people that Zabaan can teach, the better it will be. And that's it. Thank you for joining me again. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that it answered some of your questions. You can email us to get started. The email address is below, as well as a link to our website. If you have any questions, you could also contact us, and we'll be happy to answer them for you. We'll be making more videos in the future, and if you have any special requests for things that you would like addressed about any specific language that we teach, I'll be more than happy to make this video for you. Thank you, and looking forward to working with you.